Hello to my advanced algebra students. So this example says simplify, and it might look pretty familiar to you. We've got a couple of binomials multiplying here, groupings with two terms, basically. They've each got two terms, binomials. And rules are the same. Not much has changed, but there's just a few chances for errors here in a couple of places. So let's make sure we're nice and neat together. So let's start here. Instead of having x and x multiply as we often do, this time we've got x squared and x squared. And remember what x squared means. It means x times x. So if I take an x squared and multiply it by another x squared, I'm basically multiplying together four x's, or x to the fourth power, 4 factors of x. Wonderful. Now we'll do x squared times positive y. Read it with the sign in front of it. And so that will be positive x squared y. Nice and simple. But as you go, now that you've done and passed out x squared, and you're going to pass out negative y times x squared, be careful. Make sure you write those variables in the same order you did in the last term, because take a look. You had an x squared and a y term, or I should say factors here, an x squared and a y factor here. Let's do it in the same order here. So I'm going to end up with negative, and I'm just going to put the x squared first and the y second. Now, it's not necessary, okay, you guys? I'm not saying that has to happen that way, but I want it to happen that way so you can see something in the next step. And so we'll get back to that, but let's finish passing this out. Negative y times positive y. Well, a negative times a positive is a negative, and y times y is y squared. And now here's why I wanted you to be so cautious about order. And that's because these two terms here are like. And if you had written that as negative yx squared, you might have missed that they were like. So the order doesn't matter in multiplication, right? So we could put the x squared first or the y first, and it means the same thing. But now that they're in the same order, you can see that these guys are like, and that in fact they will cancel. Positive x squared y and negative x squared y basically go to 0, or 0x squared y, but of course that's just 0. And so I am just left with x to the fourth power minus y to the second power. Nice. All right, you guys, strong work. Super proud of you. Happy learning.